Good evening, and welcome to the Hickson Union Building, a place that we're all familiar with here at Whitworth. Saga, the bookstore, the mailroom, even the info desk. This place brings to mind a certain comfortable familiarity. What if everything is not quite as it seems? These buildings here on campus present a false narrative, an alternate reality. Beneath this tepid veneer is concealed a truth so hideous that many have guessed at it, but none have yet unmasked it. Join us as we uncover the truths, lay bare the facts, and reveal the nature of Whitworth's mysteries.
The Hello Walk in its final form was completed in the summer of 2005. To the casual passerby, this causeway is nothing more than a convenient route through the loop. But to the more careful observer, it reveals the first hints that something sinister is going on.
The history of the loop can be traced back to 1914. Over the years, new additions have emerged. The Campanile in 1955, the removal of a road in the 1970s, and finally the installation of the Hello Walk we see today. This large green space has served as the central feature of Whitworth's campus, and in many ways has been a symbol for the school itself. A stage for public discourse, a place for rest and recreation, and a test bed for a most insidious experiment.
Here we find the most telling clue of this clandestine program. Before 2018, there was only mere speculation. But now, with more investigation, the truth is coming to light.
There's definitely something going on.
Here, near the end of the Hello Walk, we find another clue amongst the iconography of the loop. For many years, the idea of tunnels beneath Whitworth was seen as mere fantasy, many discarding the notion as mere rumors. But we have witnessed testimony that would confirm these rumors to be true.
There's definitely something under this campus.
In 1995, we decided back when I started, we didn't really have internet access in the residence halls and those kinds of things. So we came up with this idea that we were going to have a port for every pillow. We're laying this fiber optic backbone, and all of a sudden we discovered tunnels, down there, which was very strange too. There were a lot of strange things that happened in the 90s. I did my best to sort of de-strange the campus, but we can only do so much.
Although we aren't able to fully disclose the location of this network, we can heavily imply that the geography on the north side of campus would be conducive to this feature. But why tunnels? And what does this have to do with the tree? It's all about the squirrels.
Among the many speculations and rumors here on campus, few are as infamous as the Whitworth Squirrels. In fact, there are many social media accounts dedicated to their mystery, with some even suggesting the possibility that the squirrels are not what they seem.
One time, I was sitting in the library and this squirrel went up and tried to attack this one girl, and she was trying to beat it off with her backpack, and it finally ran away into the bushes and never saw it again.
Sometimes squirrels will run up, look at me, and then run away.
Oh, dude, it was insane. I saw these two squirrels. They were they were totally catching mad hands. They were they were oh my god. So it was crazy, dude. It was wild.
I used to throw my lanyard at them, which is not great. I was a freshman. Then I realized I might lose my keys and ID because one time one of them almost picked it up. So I think they're smarter than they appear. Yeah.
My first day here, I saw a squirrel eating a piece of pizza out of a trash can. So that was that was pretty weird. When I was on the track team, I saw a squirrel eat 2 cookies, and we chased it, but that was about it.
One time I was walking back from chemistry class and there was just a squirrel like laying on the ground, and I walked like right up to it and it just stayed there, it didn't run away, and that was kind of strange.
It was my freshman year. I came here early. I was working for the football team, and I noticed that there was a lot of like acorns around, and so I actually tried to feed a squirrel. And on my way to go feed this squirrel, I was like next to one of the big trees and a pine cone dropped. So I almost got my virgin pine cone trying to feed this squirrel, but I didn't catch it.
I've actually had weird experiences with a wide range of rodents on campus. Some who would visit at our house, Hawthorne House, and then others who would just appear in strange places.
Well, yes, there are squirrels that come into the Westminster Courtyard Garden, and I've been warned about them. I'm concerned about them, but I don't know. I don't know. They may be like birds. They may be a whole lot like birds.
Those squirrels are not what they seem.
How well do you know Leonard Oakland?
Oh, wow, I know Leonard really well. I think I know Leonard really well. When I got to Whitworth in 1993, he'd already been there a long time, so he was a fixture. So I wanted to get to know Leonard because he was like an encyclopedia of Whitworth. He'd tell me the strangest things, and I just didn't want to stop listening to Leonard. He knew everything.
Are you aware of the birds aren't real conspiracy?
Well, I didn't know there was a conspiracy because I saw those fake birds flying outside my windows. Maybe it's a conspiracy. It's funny that just came up.
No, it's not a conspiracy. No, there are some people that understand that birds are not real in the way that we understand reality. Birds are, they exist in a different reality. They're good. They're kind. They're noisy.
They seem to go away after I kind of, exerted myself on campus and said, we cannot have these birds. They were like really looking, it's like they were looking for something. Stepped up and said, no more fake birds, and really brought things to a halt. I'm sort of showing my authority.
I haven't seen any birds on campus. That's such a good point. There needs to be more awareness of the missing of birds. Where I live, there was tons of birds, and I haven't seen a single one.
I didn't see any birds on campus at all this year, but I have heard someone outside of our dorm room yesterday, which is really cool because I haven't heard any birds before around here. A few. I've heard the birds more than I've seen them.
Now that I think about it, no. Like, I've seen more airplanes than birds, which is weird.
I've only seen a couple of birds. They don't like to stay here for some reason.
Whitworth is the ideal school for this experiment because of its small size and close-knit community. The pine cone curtain allows for little to no interaction with the outside world.
Another strange quirk of our campus is the lack of birds. Birds, which according to some theories are government surveillance drones, are repelled by the lightning tree, whose main function is to power our squirrely enemies.
When lightning struck the tree, it revealed its highly conductive nature, and when the school refused to remove it, they unintentionally showed its importance. When the facts of this case are brought forth separately, nothing alarming comes to mind. But when you consider the full body of evidence shown, a fascinating yet troubling picture emerges.
In the 1960s, the CIA attempted to develop animal-based spy technology in order to infiltrate the Kremlin. However, these attempts failed miserably. In an effort to progress this technology further, a safer environment was required. Enter a young Leonard Oakland, and the relatively unknown Whitworth University.
When John F. Kennedy was running for president, he came to the campus, and there was, I hate to keep using the same word, but there was a lot of strange rodent activity when he came on campus, and nobody was too sure what was going on there.
What brought me to Whitworth was a job. I came here because I wanted to work here, teach here, and it gave me a chance to further my interest in gardening, particularly with the Westminster Courtyard. We began that 20, 30 years ago, and it's been a lot of work. It's a lot of work. There are things that worry me about how the garden gets disrupted. So yes, there have been a lot of changes in my time at Whitworth. There have been buildings built, a whole string of different presidents over the years. Bill Robinson was one of the most important, one of the longest here in the history of the college, and he made a lot of changes. And you notice there are buildings that he's responsible for, buildings that carry his name. And those buildings made for really amazing changes that have happened at the college, and the kind of connections that some of us have help to bring those buildings in the right places on the campus.
We now know that birds are primarily a surveillance device utilized by the United States government. But before the technological ability to reproduce miniaturized flight, a slightly different form factor was required to further the program. This leaves us with the issue of the tree.
The ability to wirelessly transmit power was first patented by Nikola Tesla in 1901. Allegedly, this failed, but what we see at Whitworth would prove otherwise.
Why was a single tree struck back in 2018? And why does it remain to this day? Well, the simple laws of nature have revealed a secret hidden in plain sight.
If the lightning tree was truly a dead tree, the university would have already removed it. This structure is a safety risk for everyone on campus. There must be a significant reason for this being left up. Instead, they have come up with a cheap cover story to preserve it. This leads us back to the tunnels.
The tunnels may have originally been built for storage. Perhaps they were built up during the time of the Red Scare. But now, their purpose is far simpler.
In the year 1901, a Polish immigrant living in New York patented technology for the wireless transmission of electricity. According to the accepted story, the technology failed. But according to our theory, the technology has been running smoothly right under our noses.
What do you know about the tree that got struck by lightning at Whitworth?
Well, that was after my time, but we had the ice storm of 1996, and that's where strange things started happening with trees. When they broke off, it was the weirdest thing because they still seemed as though they were alive. They seemed to have some kind of source to keep them alive, even though they were broken off. So I found that unusual. There are a lot of strange things.
The lightning tree. Well, I've heard about the lightning tree, but I haven't been visiting it myself.
They say it was struck by lightning, but no one was there, so we don't know.
I've never heard of the lightning tree. What's that?
It was crazy. Someone said that like lightning came down and powered the whole tree and it went up. You know what I mean? But it's kind of dead now, but they just don't want to remove it. It's like an artifact or something.
Here are the facts as we have discovered them. The squirrels are robots. The CIA developed this program during the height of the Red Scare. The lightning tree is their power source. Whitworth was and is the ideal proving ground for this experiment. There may or may not be staff, past and present, that have intimate knowledge of this program and its true capabilities.
We have deduced the presence of this cunning scheme by assessing the puzzling arrangement of the loop, the testimony of credible witnesses, and by analyzing the unnatural behavior of this arboreal nuisance.
We are also aware of several misinformation campaigns here on campus. These insidious organizations serve to further conceal this elaborate ploy.
Throughout this project, we attempted to contact the office of former President Beck Taylor. Ultimately, we never received any information from the office. The coincidence of his departure doesn't escape our notice.
Things are, indeed, not as they appear at Whitworth, but with a careful glance and a willingness to investigate, the truth can and will be discovered, and this diabolical program can finally come to an end.
Quiet on set.
I definitely watched Napoleon Dynamite in the basement here illegally. Do I walk now? Do I walk? There are people.
They're not going to go away.
Take 87.